South African President Jacob Zuma has delivered his State of the Nation address and what he hopes is a roadmap to reviving the country's fortunes. But President Zuma had to weather a storm of heckling and insults from opposition members of parliament. South Africa's Economic Freedom Fighters Party walked out of President Zuma's State of the Nation address. In chaotic scenes in parliament, the EFF lawmakers shouted down the speaker for more than an hour before obeying her order to either allow the president to deliver his address or to leave the chamber. During his speech, President Zuma said South Africa would procure nuclear energy at an affordable pace and scale.
Our plan is to introduce 9,600 megawatts of nuclear energy in the next decade, in addition to running Quebec nuclear power plant. We will test the market to ascertain the true cost of building modern nuclear plant. Let me emphasize that we will only procure nuclear on a scale and pace that our country can afford.
It's a man who's in denial. It's a man who lacks leadership qualities. Once we remove Zuma, the people, the investors, will begin to have confidence in this country.
Well, let's get some more insights and analysis on those developments in South Africa. Mienke Emari Statler is the head of Media and Public Affairs at South Africa's Institute for Race Relations. She's joining me now live from Johannesburg. Mienke, thank you. This is the second consecutive State of the Nation address marred by disruption and protest. For those watching from beyond South Africa, should there be a reason of concern about the state of affairs in South Africa's political arena?
Yes, there is reason for concern. It was quite disconcerting to see that for a second year in a row, as you said, this has occurred. There is a flip side to it, that this is democracy in action. This would never have been broadcast, for example, during the apartheid years when the country was completely closed. But it is indicative that people are unhappy. It is indicative that people are wanting to hold the government and the president to account, and that there are many, many, many issues in the country that need that need to be addressed, and that need to be addressed urgently.
Well, it is indicative of a vibrant democratic arena, though. But beyond that drama that surrounded the address, what are the key issues that stood out for you from that address?
Yes, so his address actually started quite positively. It was relatively new that he was quite pro-business, speaking towards business, saying that government had met with business, especially since our economy is growing at around 0% or 0.5%, and it's probably not going to grow more than that this year. However, at the Institute of Race Relations, we feel that without concrete policy changes, especially within the empowerment policies and so forth, you can speak as much as you like, but it's unlikely that business will actually invest more. Things that stood out, for example, was the national minimum wage, which in an ideal world sounds perfect, but in our economy as it stands at the moment, it just feels to us like a dream. It's basically saying we're going to create jobs, but we're going to make it extremely expensive to create jobs. The same with the national health insurance. That's something that's been talked about for quite a few years. We also feel, as an economic think tank, that South Africa's economy really cannot sustain something like that, and that it will undermine or possibly undermine our quite high quality private healthcare that the country has. Other issues that stood out were foreign investment, for example. So speaking quite positively about foreign investment, but we're wondering whether this means that the Investment Act will be repealed, which actually makes it difficult for companies to invest here. And then the reiteration of what he said last year, saying that foreigners would not be allowed to own land, but would be granted long-term leases. Again, this puts foreign direct investment, it puts companies off investing in South Africa, and we really direly need that investment. And a final point is bringing it back to the business. It was a business business-orientated State of the Nation address, but we actually think that as much as business might have been surprised and feel positive about it, they're unlikely to pump more money into South Africa. They're more likely to take it elsewhere, and that they simply just don't trust government no matter what was said in public or in Parliament last night.
Right, Mienke Mari Statler joining us there from Johannesburg.